A palace with 1,700 rooms, a car collection worth billions, a ruler whose fortune rivals entire nations. This is the story of Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, the man behind one of the most extravagant reigns in history. In the heart of Southeast Asia lies a tiny nation, hidden behind dense rainforests and guarded traditions, Brunei. And at the center of it all stands Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, one of the longest reigning monarchs in modern history. To the outside world, he is a figure draped in gold, commanding a fortune that rivals the wealthiest oil tycoons. But behind the glitter lies a man whose rule has been shaped by strict traditions, political caution, and strategic diplomacy. Today, we pull back the golden curtain to reveal the untold story of the Sultan, his rise, his power, and his enduring mystery. Hassanal Bolkiah was born on July 15, 1946, into a royal family that had ruled Brunei for centuries. As the eldest son of Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin III, he was destined from birth to inherit the throne. His childhood was marked by strict discipline, royal etiquette, and a deep immersion in Islamic teachings. Educated both in Brunei and abroad, he was sent to the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in the UK to train as a leader. These early years instilled in him a blend of Eastern tradition and Western sophistication, a combination that would define his reign. In 1967, at just 21 years old, Hassanal Bolkiah's life changed forever when his father unexpectedly abdicated. The coronation ceremony was a dazzling display of Bruneian culture, with golden carriages, royal regalia, and sacred rituals. Thousands lined the streets as the young sultan was crowned, his every move watched with both admiration and curiosity. It was a moment that signaled a new era for Brunei, with a youthful leader stepping into centuries-old responsibilities. Yet even on that day of triumph, few could have predicted how his reign would shape the destiny of this small but wealthy nation. Brunei's vast oil and gas reserves quickly became the foundation of the Sultan's power and the country's prosperity. Billions flowed into the national treasury, funding lavish infrastructure projects and ensuring free healthcare and education for all citizens. But this reliance on oil was both a blessing and a hidden danger, leaving Brunei's economy vulnerable to global price shifts. The Sultan, aware of the risks, began to quietly diversify the nation's investments through foreign holdings and sovereign wealth funds. Still, whispers grew. Could Brunei's golden age last forever, or was it built on a fragile foundation? Despite his public image as a figure of immense wealth and power, the Sultan is known for his reserved and private nature. He avoids unnecessary public appearances, preferring the comfort of royal palaces and close family gatherings. Friends describe him as deeply religious, meticulous in his decision-making, and surprisingly humble in personal interactions. Yet, critics argue that this distance from the public allows him to avoid scrutiny and maintain a tight grip on the nation. This duality, the humble leader and the untouchable monarch, has fueled fascination and debate for decades. By the late 1980s, Brunei's oil exports had skyrocketed, turning the small nation into one of the richest countries on earth. Every barrel shipped out brought more gold into the Sultan's treasury, and the numbers seemed endless. Hassanal Bolkiah's fortune was now rivaling that of entire royal dynasties combined. His wealth wasn't just measured in dollars, it was a visible display of grandeur across the country. From lavish ceremonies to public displays of opulence, the Sultan's reign became the very definition of luxury. To house his growing court and host visiting heads of state, the Sultan commissioned the construction of the Istana Nurul Iman, the largest residential palace in the world. The project became a symbol of Brunei's wealth, covering more than 2 million square feet with over 1,700 rooms. Golden domes, marble halls, and crystal chandeliers filled every corner. It was not just a home, it was a statement to the world of how far Brunei's riches had taken them. Even world leaders visiting the palace were stunned into silence. The Sultan has built the largest residential palace in the world. Can you imagine what's hidden inside? Comment your guess. The Sultan developed a taste for the rarest and most expensive items money could buy. From centuries-old artifacts to priceless artworks, his private collections grew to museum-scale proportions. Among his prized possessions were unique Fabergé eggs, antique weaponry, and jewelry worn by historical monarchs. These treasures weren't locked away in dusty vaults. They were proudly displayed in lavish rooms for select guests. Owning these items was more than personal indulgence. It was a demonstration of unmatched purchasing power. Few passions rivaled the Sultan's obsession with automobiles. Reports suggest his collection reached over 7,000 vehicles, including hundreds of Rolls-Royces, Ferraris, and Bentleys. Many custom-made to his specifications. Some were plated in gold, others painted in rare, one-of-a-kind colors that existed nowhere else in the world. Entire hangars were dedicated to storing this automotive empire. For the Sultan, these cars were not just modes of transportation. They were rolling jewels of engineering and prestige. When the Sultan's son, Prince Haji Al-Muhtadi Billah, married in 2004, Brunei witnessed a celebration like no other. The wedding festivities lasted for weeks, featuring parades of gilded carriages, diamond-encrusted regalia, and banquets for thousands of guests. Royal families, dignitaries, and celebrities from across the globe attended. Every detail, from the gold-threaded attire to the fireworks over the palace, was carefully designed to showcase Brunei's status as the pinnacle of luxury and tradition. In 2017, the Sultan marked his Golden Jubilee, celebrating 50 years on the throne with grandeur that dazzled the world. The streets of Bandar Seri Begawan were filled with parades, military processions, and golden carriages. Leaders from across the globe attended, reinforcing his diplomatic stature. Citizens waved flags as fireworks illuminated the night sky in a spectacular display. The celebrations were not just for the Sultan, but a testament to Brunei's stability under his reign. Despite his immense wealth and charitable acts, the Sultan's rule has not been without controversy. His decision to implement strict Sharia law in 2014 sparked international criticism. Celebrities and activists called for boycotts of his hotels and businesses worldwide. The Sultan defended the move as preserving Islamic values and culture. Yet, the controversy highlighted the clash between tradition and global human rights advocacy. The Istana Nurul Iman, his official residence, remains a global marvel. With over 1,700 rooms, a banquet hall for 5,000 guests, and a mosque that can hold 1,500 worshippers, it stands as a symbol of royal luxury. Its vast halls are adorned with gold, crystal, and intricate Islamic art. State banquets feature the world's finest cuisine and opulent displays. The palace is rarely open to the public, except during Eid, when thousands are invited to meet the Sultan in person. Though small in size, Brunei's influence under the Sultan extends far beyond its borders. He has invested in global real estate, luxury hotels, and international ventures. Brunei's oil wealth has allowed it to offer financial aid to allies and participate in key ASEAN discussions. The Sultan's personal relationships with monarchs, presidents, and prime ministers have kept Brunei diplomatically relevant. Behind the scenes, his decisions shape trade, security, and cultural exchange in Southeast Asia. Beyond politics and wealth, the Sultan is known for his love of polo. He has competed in international tournaments, often alongside his sons, showcasing both skill and style. Polo has become a royal tradition in Brunei, symbolizing prestige and aristocracy. The Sultan's stables house some of the finest horses in the world, cared for with the utmost luxury. For him, polo is more than a sport. It is a statement of elegance, tradition, and royal endurance. We've seen the Sultan's luxury cars, palaces, and treasures. Which do you think he values the most? Share your thoughts. While the world marveled at his golden palaces, much of Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's wealth was hidden away in private accounts and offshore investments. Brunei's vast oil and gas revenues flowed directly into the royal coffers, bypassing the usual public scrutiny. This allowed the Sultan to operate almost like a corporate CEO of a vast empire rather than just a political ruler. International watchdogs often speculated on the exact size of his fortune, but few dared to challenge him openly. His financial secrecy became as legendary as his extravagant spending. Not all royal tales were polished with gold. Some were tainted with scandal. His younger brother, Prince Geoffrey Bolkiah, became infamous for his wild parties, luxury yachts, and questionable business deals. The Sultan, torn between family loyalty and the image of the monarchy, was forced to intervene. Legal disputes, missing millions, and sensational tabloid stories spilled into the public eye. These incidents risked tarnishing the royal family's carefully curated prestige. Despite absolute power, the Sultan understood the delicate balance between tradition and modern demands. The introduction of Sharia law in Brunei in 2014 sparked international backlash, particularly from human rights groups. Celebrities called for boycotts of Brunei-owned hotels worldwide. The Sultan responded calmly but firmly, framing the move as a preservation of Brunei's cultural and religious identity. This decision solidified his position domestically, but strained relationships with the West. The Sultan maintained a strict public image for his family, one of unity, discipline, and tradition. Royal weddings became grand affairs, showcasing Brunei's opulence and cultural heritage. Yet, behind palace walls, the pressures of royal life weighed heavily on younger generations. Some embraced the duty, others quietly longed for a life outside the gold gates. The Sultan, aware of these struggles, kept a firm grip to ensure the dynasty's survival. As the 21st century moved forward, the world around Brunei evolved rapidly. Oil prices fluctuated, global politics shifted, and environmental concerns grew louder. The Sultan began investing in diversification projects to reduce dependence on oil. Education reforms, technology initiatives, and limited economic partnerships hinted at a new strategy. Yet the challenge remained: how to modernize without losing the absolute power the monarchy had enjoyed for centuries. As decades passed, the Sultan's reign became one of the longest in modern history. His rule spanned generations, making him not only a political figure, but also a symbol of Brunei's identity. Older citizens recalled his early years as a young leader, while younger ones knew only the stability he provided. This continuity brought both comfort and caution to Brunei's future. The weight of his legacy was now undeniable. Even with oil wealth, Brunei faced challenges that money could not easily solve. Global calls for transparency, shifts in energy markets, and pressures for modernization loomed on the horizon. The Sultan stood at the crossroads between preserving tradition and embracing change. Every decision risked altering the delicate balance he had maintained for so long. The world outside was moving faster than ever before. Behind the palace walls, the Sultan has a private life few know about. What do you think it's like? Comment below. Away from the palace's golden halls, the Sultan was a man of deep family ties and personal convictions. Stories emerged of his love for polo, his passion for fine automobiles, and his quiet moments of prayer. Yet, these glimpses were rare, guarded by layers of protocol and security. For many, the Sultan remained a mystery, a ruler whose true self was known only to a select few. His public image and private life were worlds apart. From the grand mosques that dotted the skyline to the carefully maintained order in Brunei's streets, the Sultan's vision was imprinted everywhere. His influence shaped not only politics but culture, education, and the very rhythm of daily life. Even critics admitted that Brunei's stability was in many ways his creation. Whether future generations would preserve this or move in a new direction was a question only time would answer. The country was, for now, his masterpiece. Under the rule of Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, Brunei became a rare blend of ancient monarchy and modern wealth. His reign, marked by opulence, tradition, and unyielding control, left an indelible mark on history. To some, he was the guardian of a golden age. To others, a ruler resistant to the winds of change. As the sun set over the Sultan's palace, one truth remained. His story was not just the tale of a man, but of a nation built in his image. And in the golden glow of Brunei's evening, his reign continued. For now, from golden thrones to hidden fortunes, Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's reign is a living legend of wealth and power. But every golden era eventually meets its test. When that day comes for Brunei, how will history remember him?